Three, two, one, ghost. Hey, everybody. Welcome to 321 Ghost. I'm your host with the silent G, Kyle, and as always, joined by my pal, Natalie. Hey, Natalie, how are you?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm excited. Look, I liked Stay Alive from last week. And I liked
Did you?
Identity too. I think so. I mean, watchable, but
Okay.
boy, I just feel like we've had a lot of clunkers lately.
Yeah, I agree.
And what better way? I think we were almost preparing for it when we were making the schedule because let's start strong, right? With
Yep.
Child's Play. We're
hmm
gonna navigate some unclear waters. I mean, I don't know. You were certain how good Identity was because you
Okay,
when you
first
recommended
of
it.
all, I didn't rave about it. I just said, "Hey, I think we should cover this movie. It's interesting." I think that's what I said.
I think I remember you saying, "Oh my God, Kyle, this is my favorite movie." Um, I am just love sick for Cusack. No, hold on. Love sack for Cusack. I don't know.
Oh, love Zach.
Yeah, I want to get Cusack in the love sack. Eh. And and then I was like, hey, let's watch Stay Alive because I don't know. A lot of people like that movie though. I don't get it.
I
Um,
know.
but we were like, hey, let's end strong.
Yep.
Something we know is good.
Get back to the 80s.
Yeah, get back to the classics. And here we are. We're talking about 1982's Creepshow, written by Stephen King and directed by George Romero.
Nice.
The first and only George Romero movie to open at number one in the box office.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like
People were lining
the
up to see zombie movies?
yeah, I mean, like the of the Dead movies were pretty still like I don't know. The popularity grew as time went
Maybe
on,
over
I
time.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is also, I think, only the second anthology movie we've done outside of Trick or Treat, right?
It is. Yeah. And Trick or Treat is still kind of, I'm on the fence of whether or not that's a true anthology because the stories tie together so much. This one's the first real anthology.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you saying that because I agree. And what I like about anthologies that Trick or Treat, I mean, thankfully Trick or Treat's good, but
hmm
what I like so much about anthologies is that, like, you know what? If you're not feeling it, in 15 minutes, you're good, refresh, start over. Whereas, like, say, watching Trick or Treat, there is so much that is interconnected, characters that come from other stories into different ones. And of course, that one long thread throughout. This is, your classic, basic, no bullshit anthology. You've
hmm
got your epilogue and prologue. You've got five different stories. Um, and also, like, gosh, usually I really don't have that much patience for a movie that's longer than 90 minutes. And so for a movie to work and for it to be
hmm
2 hours, you got
hmm
to give it to me in 20-minute chunks. Maybe that's
Yeah.
it. Maybe that's the secret.
Yeah. Well, five stories feels like a lot,
Yeah.
which makes sense for the length of the movie. But yeah, like you said, if it's gonna be that long, I like a couple different stories thrown in there.
I think four probably would have been the sweet spot for
I
this
agree.
movie.
hmm
But at the same time, sure, maybe I've got some that I like more than others, but I wouldn't like immediately say like, ooh, cut that one. You know
Oh,
what I
I
mean?
have I have one that I would cut.
Hmm.
hmm
Ooh, I'm curious what that is.
Yeah.
Um, we're gonna do this a little differently because it's an anthology, so we're already working a little differently here. Um, I thought it'd be fun to have a boo score for each one, for each little story.
You did think it would be fun. I think it's stressful, but I did it.
And then you know what? I think what we'll do is then average out our boo scores.
hmm
Don't worry, all we did the math
Did the
beforehand, so
math
we
in
don't have to.
advance.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit here and say it out loud and add and make you all figure it out.
And we'll see kind of averaging out the boost scores, what that final boost score would be. And I do think we don't have to be committed to what that average is. If you need to put it up
Okay,
half a
that's good.
boo or go down half a boo, or even just say like, You know what? I
Or
average
round
out to
up because like mine was not an even number.
or round down if you
So,
want to.
oh yeah,
Depends how
that's
you're
true.
feeling.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, um,
Fun.
like, thank you. So, like I said, movie directed by George A. Romero, written by Stephen King, also starring Stephen King.
Mhm.
He's he's a he's a character,
I
definitely.
I don't know that he's known for his comedic acting chops.
You do have a lot of well-known people in this movie. I'd say you've
Mhm.
got a couple, at least a few industry legends
Oh
in
yeah.
this movie, even
Hmm.
if horror is not their main forte.
For sure.
Um, always excited to see Ed Harris.
Hmm.
Young Ed Harris. That's interesting. It took me a second to be like, oh yeah, that is him. Huh.
Me
Um,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
You've got Leslie Nielson, industry legend. Leslie Nielson. I
Yes,
mean,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yes.
we're allowed to, yeah, we can do whatever we
Yeah.
want, right?
We can do
So
whatever we want. I watched him so much as a kid that like every time I see his face on screen, I'm immediately happy no matter what dumb shit he's doing that day.
you've got Adrienne Barbeau, who I would also recommend as industry
Mm.
legend Adrienne Barbeau.
Hmm.
In 1982, good year for her.
Yeah.
She was in this and Wes Craven's Swamp Thing.
Oh yeah. That was the same year. Okay.
Let's see who else we got. Hal Holbrook. You've got our boy Ted Danson, industry
Mm.
legend Ted Danson.
Industry legend Ted Danson, of course.
Before
Love
we
him.
started recording, um, we were just in amazement by how beautiful that man is at 77 years
Yeah.
old and just how he always has been. You're like, God
Uh,
damn.
amazement feels like a very PG word for how amazed we were. Maybe just me.
Maybe just you.
Maybe just thirsty.
Like I appreciate like that he's a good looking dude, but like I
Mhm.
don't necessarily like want to fuck him. Like,
I don't necessarily want to fuck 77-year-olds either, but Ted Danson, yes, absolutely, 100%.
yeah.
Hmm. Looking good.
Good for good for Mary Steenburgen because she's
Yes.
also looking real great too.
Yeah, they're a hot couple.
Oh my God, they're such a hot couple.
Hmm.
Um, who else do we have here? Sorry, I was going off the rails.
That's okay.
And some other people that show up.
Hmm. Yeah, a lot of people that show up.
When did you first watch this movie?
So this was one of those movies that we had on VHS that was recorded from TV. So I would watch it. We didn't have the commercials on there, so good on whoever made that recording. I don't even know where it came from. It was just part of our VHS collection, but I watched this a lot as a kid. Loved it.
I didn't see this movie until high school. Um, I want to say it was a gift. I got it on DVD. It was a gift from an ex or either her or maybe her father, I think,
Hmm.
because he knew I was into horror and comic books.
Mm-hmm.
So nice intersection there.
Yeah.
Um, so I watched this movie pretty, well, not like pretty late, but I mean, I was like, what, 16, 17 when I watched it for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now I was really familiar with EC Comics though,
Mm-hmm.
before watching the movie. Finding, uh, anthologies of them, in bookstores when I was a kid or seeing them in comic shops. Um, I watched a lot of Tales from the Crypt, which
Yeah.
also borrows from this heavily,
Same.
or borrows from, EC Comics.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I was always prepped to at least appreciate the hell out of this movie.
Yeah.
I have not seen any of the others or that recent TV show, though. Have you?
I've seen Creepshow 2, probably more than I've seen this one. I've only watched a couple episodes of that newer, but probably like 6 years ago, series that came out. I watched a couple of episodes and it was about like how you would expect it to be, just an updated version of what we watched. But yeah, I just love like anything Tales from the Crypt, Creepshow, Twilight Zone, like short spooky stories that have, revenge or weird, supernatural things that you can't explain. It's always just so fun. I don't need answers. I don't need backstories. Like just a like little snippet into these people's lives and deaths is really fun.
I feel like all the stories, or at least most of them, are about just real despicable people.
Yeah. A lot of revenge and
A lot of
happening.
revenge, a lot of fucking around and finding out. A lot of the dead just not staying dead. But and then just a lot of comeuppance in this,
Yeah.
or in
Yeah.
these rather.
Some of them I don't feel like are so fair, which we'll get into, but they don't all feel fair.
Did you watch this on Prime? Did you rent it?
Yes, I did.
I just thought it was funny to share. I'm watching this, or at least I just watched it on YouTube through this
Oh,
service through YouTube called Docurama. And I did a free trial, so
never heard of it.
so shoot me a text and remind me to cancel that. Um, but I was looking at it and it's called Docurama,
Uh-huh.
and it's like all of these like hard-hitting documentaries and this and this and this, and the best place to find like yeah, your go-to place for documentaries, and
And
Creepshow
this,
allegedly. Yeah, or apparently. So I thought that was very weird, but I was like,
interesting.
okay, whatever. I don't have to pay for it, so I'm going to watch it. Well, until I inevitably forget to.
Yeah, you will pay for
Um,
it for sure.
yeah. So they'll at least get probably, 5.99 a month out of me for at least the next month. We'll see.
Were you worried that you were going to put it on and it was going to be a documentary about Creepshow?
Maybe, or
It would have been fun to watch, but
yeah, it would have been fun to watch, but not helpful. Well, I
for
guess it probably
this.
would have been helpful for this episode because I
Yeah.
usually am woefully unprepared, and just kind of go off the cuff. So actually, that would have been helpful.
Yeah,
So
it probably would have. Yeah.
yeah.
You did forget one industry legend who's not, well, actually is in this movie for a cameo, but works on the special makeup effects.
Oh, Tom Savini.
Yeah, our boy Tom Savini.
I thought you were going to mention the uncredited cameo in from Richard Gere.
What? When is Richard Gere in this?
Allegedly, he's in the second one, the Stephen King one. He's on the TV.
What?
He's one of the people that shows up on the TV when he's watching.
I'm gonna have to go back and watch. I've never noticed Richard Gere
He's another guy, kind of like Leslie Nielsen, where I don't know. I just always remember,
from
I
just
don't
being old.
remember Richard Gere under the age of 50.
But he's always been hot too. I do love Richard Gere as well.
Well, dang, I'm ready to hop into this. How about you?
Let's do it.
So the movie is bookended by this epilogue and prologue. This kid named Billy and his just absolute asshole of a father.
Oh yeah, another industry legend. His the actor that plays his father. Why am I blanking on his name? He is in Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Tom Atkins.
Tom Atkins.
You would have thought he found like, when you're hearing just like, oh my gosh, what are you reading this shit? Blah 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 blah. This is fucking awful.
I thought it was like
I didn't raise you to be like this. I thought it was gonna be some like really fucked up like pornography or
that's
something.
what I that's what I would think too, based off of his reaction, that it's like fucked up porn.
And I'm like, what? It's just a bunch of dumb little comic books,
Yeah.
Like it was so weird how like angry he got.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna throw this shit away. This goes in the garbage. You know, thank God for dads so they can hit their children, I
He says, yeah,
guess.
he says that's why God made fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah, for discipline.
And you little fucking snoop. Like the kid's like, I found your pornography, dad, in your fucking underwear drawer.
Yeah,
To,
he slaps him so hard that he has like a red mark on his face. Little
yeah,
Billy. That's fucked up.
poor Billy. And
Mhm.
this dad's absolutely going to deserve what's coming to him.
Yeah. But also he gets so mad about the comic book, but if you look at Billy's wall, he has a Dracula poster.
Dracula's a classic, Natalie.
Well, like he watches horror movies, obviously. So,
Maybe he is a horror fan, the dad. And he's just like, only the classics, and just, slaps him across the face. He's like, none of this new age comic doodly doos.
Universal monsters only in this
Yeah,
house.
yeah. It's only Mary Shelley in this house. God damn it. If I see a man in here, he better be invisible. Which, how could you, right? He's invisible. So inevitably, the dad grabs his comic book, goes downstairs, goes outside, throws it in the trash. This, I guess, summons the creep.
This fucking Halloween decoration looking motherfucker in his
Yeah,
window. Yeah.
just hanging out outside his window, just being, yeah.
So creepy. Like if it was because it's a monster, for some reason it's less creepy than if it was like a just a person outside his window. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. And I guess the kid just, is like, all right,
He's like, I see where this is going.
I see where this is going.
Hmm.
We're gonna get up to some shit here.
Yep.
Um, the confusing part though is when it transitions into our first story, which is called Father's Day.
Hmm.
I was like, wait, is this going to be about Billy and his dad still? It was just weird
Oh yeah.
introducing this dynamic between a father and son, and then your first story being Father's Day.
That if I hadn't seen this so many times, yes, I totally understand that. That is kind of a confusing dynamic because then you kind of almost feel like that's the name of that first story with Billy and his dad, and then you move into something else. But yeah, yeah, I understand that. I like when it cuts into the animation, like how it cuts back and forth, like in between stories and vignettes.
I do like the animation in between. I also like how some of the shots are like framed, and have like kind of um superimposed like comic panels on the side,
Yeah,
or
it's very fun.
s some of the frames around some of the shots that look like they're right out of comic
Hmm.
panels. It at first wasn't working for me, but ultimately, like, I just like the creativity of it. I think it looks
Yeah.
good. So I do appreciate that. I don't know if you
Hmm.
call that the art direction.
I'm surprised you say it's not that it didn't work for you at first. I that one of the things that I love most about this movie, because there are a few stories that I'm not as like stoked on as others, but I love the animation. I love when they frame, the film with like the comic book frames and things like that. And also the music. The music is real fun in this whole entire movie.
Shout out to John Harrison, who did the music for this.
Okay.
He a frequent collaborator with George Romero, so it makes sense that he's doing the
Yeah.
music here. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's really good.
So we hop into our first story, Father's Day, which I think is one of the more straightforward stories, I think, of the movie.
For sure.
You have this family that I guess every Father's Day meets at the estate. I don't know who
Hmm.
lives there all throughout the year. Maybe it's like the daughter and the husband, or maybe the aunt who
I think
lives there.
I think it's the aunt.
Hmm.
And then Aunt Bedelia is the great aunt.
Right. So you've got,
Hmm.
yeah, great Aunt Bedelia, who also comes every Father's Day. We'll
Hmm.
get to her in a second. You have the niece and nephew. The niece, her husband, that's Ed Harris.
Hmm.
And so I guess they come here for a family reunion once a year, every Father's Day, which
Hmm.
is every third Sunday in June. Not every, yeah,
Every
third
second
Sunday in June.
Sunday.
Is it second Sunday?
Hmm.
I wouldn't
Mother's Day and
know.
Father's Day are the second Sunday.
I don't keep track of those things. I'm not a father nor a mother. Um, it's a small family for this
Hmm.
family get together reunion, right? But
And such a large venue.
And it is a pretty, I guess, kind of unspoken fact that kind of everybody knows that Great Aunt Bedelia definitely murdered somebody.
I wouldn't say it's unspoken considering they're just like telling people who are brand new to the family.
True.
Like they could have just not told him. Like he's not a blood relative.
I mean, if she's gonna come acting weird though, they might need to explain it. I mean, and you're married in.
Yeah, I
So,
guess so.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like, you're already here. All right, we'll tell you our murder secrets.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
So I guess it's very spoken. You're right. My apologies.
Yeah. I would have been out. I would have been like, okay, no, I didn't sign up for this fucking weird murder family situation. I'm gonna need to see myself out.
Great Aunt Bedelia, when she was younger, had a real shitty father
Hmm.
who I guess would be, I don't know, the youngest people's great grandfather.
I believe so.
If it's your great aunt's father,
Yeah. Yeah.
so there you go.
I don't know where their
There,
mother is.
there you go. We've got to figure it out.
Yeah, we're
Um,
we're getting the family tree together.
so this dude's just a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
Real needy, super big asshole,
Emotionally
um,
abusive.
emotionally abusive, demands cake on Father's Day. Like, who makes a Father's Day cake?
No, no one's making Father's Day cakes. Although, like, I didn't grow up with my dad, so I can't say that for certain. But I don't make Father's Day cakes for my husband.
So since, I mean, he's been a father for what, 9 years now. Um, the first Father's Days, like when they started rolling around, did he start just
Mhm.
thinking like, this is another day I could just demand what I want?
Oh yeah, he totally is banging on the chair with the cane, just yelling out what he wants.
I
Beer,
do the
Warhammer.
yeah, it would be beer and Warhammer. Do you do the same on Mother's Day? Because you should, right?
It's more of a silent threat. If I don't get what I want, you'd have to anticipate my needs. I'm not yelling out anything. Like Mother's Day is much more like everyone knows what mom wants. It's alone time. Like leave me the fuck alone time.
Love that. I think a lot of moms would probably agree with you that what
Yeah.
they would want most for Mother's Day is just to be left alone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's fair. And the dads are like,
Mother
just keep the beer coming.
Yeah, keep the beer coming, maybe put on some sports. Like I can't think of any dads that I even know that are out here demanding cake.
Yeah.
That feels very strange.
And I guess I'm just not much of a cake person anyway, so
Mm.
hmm, can't relate. Either way, he's a real big piece of shit.
Yeah.
Um, he gets in this accident where it really limits his mobility, which makes him an even bigger piece of shit.
Yeah.
Um, not because he has a disability, but because now he's just even more demanding, real, even
Meaner.
more, yeah, meaner, emotionally abusive. Um, poor fucking, what's her name? Belvedere? Babadook? What's her name?
Bedelia?
Bedelia, that's the one.
Yeah.
Um, she had a fiance.
Oof. Yeah, this is where things
Ugh.
get interesting.
Things get real interesting. And that's why like I don't really blame her for killing because like hey, if you kill
No,
someone, I think someone's allowed to kill you back.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah. So and then it had just happened finally on a Father's Day where she just snaps and she's just like, "All right, I'm just gonna fucking kill the shit out of you."
Could she have poisoned him though? Like the maid seemed like she was in on it. It probably would have been easier to poison him than to hit him with a fucking ashtray and give him blunt force trauma.
I mean, forensics, it was maybe a little harder to tell what happened, in 1982. I mean, I don't think we're even in like, you
Maybe.
know, the DNA realm yet. I'm not even
Mm-hmm.
sure, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. They use this ashtray that shows up
Mm-hmm.
throughout the different stories, which is kind of interesting. Only especially because it's only really used the once.
Yeah, it's just a
But
little callback.
fun little, be like, hey, you remember that thing that happened like 20 minutes ago?
Yeah. A little nostalgia for you.
Maybe they were just like, hey, like, I know the thing they spent the most on in this movie is cockroaches. Maybe the
Yeah,
second most expensive thing in this movie was that ashtray.
could be.
Um, so they're like,
Marvel.
we need to put this in like each one.
Yeah, we are getting our money's worth today.
Yeah, and maybe George Romero tells Stephen King like, "Hey, sorry, we got to put this ashtray in every one, so you got to write it in there." And then Stephen King's like, I mean, I already used the ashtray. Like, what do you want me to keep doing?" He's like, "I don't know, man. Just put it in there. You're the writer.
Anywhere.
Tell
Yeah.
me. Yeah, figure it out." So, um, yeah, it's a secret, not secret that she murdered the shit out of him, and
Hmm.
everybody else in the family is just like, "Yeah, no, good on you. It's
Yeah,
great."
they seem fine with it. And they got all his money, which is what
Yeah,
he thought they wanted anyway. So, I mean, feels like a win for everybody.
yeah, we're doing okay.
Hmm.
Um, Though it feels weird then be like, oh, we need to have our family reunions on Father's Day every year.
Well, I think that's because of Aunt Bedelia and her crippling guilt.
Hmm. Why would she feel guilty? I wouldn't.
Maybe she wasn't that bitter against him before he killed the fiance, and then she was like, damn, like tried to get past it and couldn't, and that was that,
Yeah.
you know?
I would have liked, I mean, I guess, all these stories are short, but I would have liked a little more crazy Aunt Bedelia.
Yeah, they take her away a little too soon because her whole like monologue to her dad's grave is
Mhm.
pretty good. Like her
Yeah.
the way she gestures, the way she is sitting, like her one stocking that's up and like the one stocking that's down. Like she's real great.
She brings a bottle of whiskey with her um, and pours some on the grave, which brings him back to life.
Yeah, is that what it was that summoned him? Because I was wondering, I was like, what about this Father's Day was special that brought him back? Was it the whiskey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which
okay.
let me ask you, what drink would bring you back? Bring you back from the dead?
Does it have to be alcohol?
Nope.
Oh, it'd be coffee for
Oh,
sure.
okay.
It does that
Well,
every morning.
that's sure. Yeah.
it
Okay. Mine would
it
be
would be coffee.
yeah, mine would probably be high C ecto cooler.
Oh, of course. Of course you
Yeah,
pick that. It is delicious though.
really delicious.
Yeah.
But from there, it's pretty straightforward. He comes up from the dead. He's pissed. He kills the shit out of her.
Mhm.
I do like all of this, and it's George Romero, or sorry, it's Tom Savini, right? So,
Mhm.
I love all the makeup.
I love the way the dad is designed. Zombie dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks great.
So she's dead. Um, Everyone back at the house is like, we don't see her anymore. You think she's doing okay? We're not really
Usually
hearing
she's here
much.
by now, and we're getting
Yeah.
hungry for ham.
Yeah, she's usually around chirping about something. Screech to a halt, as they say.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that every time just
Oh
I
God.
slam on my brakes each time and yell that out loud. I think she kills Ed Harris first. Like he goes
Yeah.
out and then, hears some noises, investigates. Don't ever do
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, don't do that. And he totally deserved it. He could have moved out of the way of the gravestone for a solid 30 seconds and chose
Yeah,
not to. So he had
100%.
it coming.
So he's dead.
Mhm.
He's been gone for a while, and his wife's just like, where the fuck is he now? Can
Yeah.
someone please go investigate? Her brother's he's a piece of work. He's pretty
Yeah,
funny
he
though.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, I don't give a fuck about your husband. I never liked him. I'm just here for the drama.
Yeah. Absolutely. He's there for the drama.
100%. Then this is when the other aunt dies.
Hmm.
She gets beheaded.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, she does.
But why is the father killing all of them?
I know, right? What is
They
he? I mean,
didn't murder him. I mean, I guess like before he died, he was calling them all vultures, like
yeah, but
stalking him.
maybe kill the other aunt too, I guess. But
Hmm.
Yeah,
with
no,
the
well,
kids.
well, and he doesn't technically, that's why he's like, serving her head on a plate,
Yeah, I
with
guess
little
that's
candles
true.
and frosting and saying like,
Yeah,
here you go.
I like the head cake.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Love a good fake head.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's the end of it.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
I like this one, but like you said earlier, I wish we would have gotten more of Aunt Bedelia or like seen her interact with the other characters. So even if she would have maybe entered the house first and had some interaction with them and then gone out to the grave, that's really my biggest critique of this one because I do think that she's the strongest character of the group, but this one's pretty middle tier for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How about a boost score?
I give this one and a half boos.
Ooh, okay.
Mhm.
Dang.
I mean,
That's lower than
nothing.
I thought.
Well, when you really think about it,
Nothing
you get
happens.
the storytelling and the flashback, and then you get a couple murders. Not sure why the husband is part of that. Just nosy. Um,
Just happened to be collateral
Wrong place,
damage
wrong
just in the
time.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, it like not really a lot happens. I like the head cake, but it's not Bedelia's head. It's the other aunt's head. So that also doesn't really make sense to me. So while this one is fine, like I just it's good. It's middle tier. Maybe I'd
Yeah.
raise it to two boos, but I'm gonna give it a boo and a half because
Yeah. Ooh.
I get bored watching this one sometimes when I go back to it. I but I think it's a good starter.
So you're
How
telling me
about you?
middle tier for you is 1.5? So there's
Yeah.
ones that are lower than this?
Yeah.
Dang. Fuck.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll
This is a strange movie for me because I love it and I watch it all the time, but I don't think I've watched it without doing other things for
mhm.
years. So this was like that was a first time experience for me.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this one two boos.
Okay.
I think it's
I was
fine.
between one and a half and two.
And I I don't know. I think everybody's just really campy in it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I do love the camp.
I do like the makeup. I like the head as
Hmm.
a cake. And mm, and again, just yeah, it's just hard to not like something that just goes by so fast. And you're like, oh, okay, next on to the
Hmm.
I don't even have to think about it anymore. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna stick with two on this one.
Gosh, should I raise it to two boos? Am I being too harsh for this one?
Nah, I say stick with what you got.
It
Go with your
and it was
gut.
the first one that I rated too. So like I gave them boo scores in order of watching.
Yeah. So the next one is The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill.
Hmm.
Jordy Verrill, played by the film's writer, Stephen King, who is really, it's a choice.
I love when he inserts himself into things that he's written, or even like if he didn't write the screenplay, like he's popped up in different things, acting, and I have to say,
He's
maybe
hot
stick with
too. He's
writing.
doing it for you.
No, Stephen King is a goofy ass looking motherfucker. Like he has always been so goofy looking to me.
He just has like a very distinctive look. It's that jawline,
Yes, so
you know.
square.
That's how, what was it? What were we watching? Phantasm? And I like saw him from like a mile away,
Hmm.
as the overseeing that funeral.
Yeah,
Um this one, like in the first like a couple minutes, I was like, oh no. This is gonna be a real hard watch, I think, for the next 20
yeah.
minutes. Because I actually personally don't care for when Stephen King inserts himself into things.
No, I don't either. I don't think he should. I think he's right, just
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Like, and he's really trying. He's really trying to camp it up and be goofy and silly, but it's like very like Three Stooges level of
yeah,
just like very slapsticky, not feeling like 80s humor.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is an interesting one where he plays Jordy Verrill, who is a farmer. He lives
Dumb as
alone,
rocks.
dumb as rocks, poor guy. Real down on his luck, you know.
Hmm.
I was like, man, he really talks to himself a lot. But then I'm like, I don't know. When I'm alone, like on like a long car ride, even like an hour and a half, 2 hours in or something, like I'm already talking to myself a little bit, just joking.
Really?
Sometimes,
No, not as much as this character. I do
maybe
not
not.
talk to myself when I'm by myself that much. The most
Yeah,
I'll
maybe
say is
not
like,
like
oh
this.
shit, if I drop something.
I'll be like, Kyle, you goofing a hoof. What are you doing? Oh, woe is me, ya boy. So that's kind of me a little bit when I'm just on my
Yeah.
own,
Yeah.
just pacing around. Um,
Okay, good to know.
so a comet or a meteor rather lands in his backyard. Um, why would you immediately touch it? Why?
That already off to a terrible start.
Yeah.
Like, I get that he's stupid, but that thing looks hot as fuck. Like, it's literally steaming. It just came from space. The radiation alone.
Oh yeah, literally the second. Like I just don't touch anything from space.
No,
Oh,
no. Don't touch
no, thank you.
anything from space. You call fucking, can you get NASA on the phone?
Yeah.
Because maybe in 82 you could. Like, you get NASA on the phone, you're like, hey, I don't have protective gear for this. I need you to get your asses out here and investigate this shit.
Or at least go
Yeah.
inside the shed and grab some gloves or something. I think he finally maybe does that. Actually, I don't even know if he does.
I don't even think you should stand close to it.
Yeah,
It's glowing.
he was touching that thing, then putting his fingers in his mouth,
Ugh.
and you're
Like
like,
fiddling with its juices. Mm-mm.
Jesus. So no, thank you. Oh, fiddling with its juices. That's terrible.
Whoa.
Don't say that again. That's awful. Um, so I do like how just he has all of these little like fantasies that he has. Um, first of all, when he
Weird.
finds this meteor, I guess he like dreams up, this department of meteors at
I love
this
it. He's
college.
like, this is how college works.
I like how his dream is just like they're gonna lowball me for 50
Yeah,
bucks, but
I'm gonna haggle.
I'm gonna haggle all the way up and I'm just gonna watch this whole scene play out. Um, So, like you're saying, the thing is steaming hot. So he's like, okay, I need to get this meteor to take it to the Department of Meteors at the
Of course,
local university,
get it, pay off those debts.
which I guess is also like a meteor pawn shop,
Yeah,
essentially.
I think
Yeah.
that's what he thinks it is. Yeah,
With the guy's like little like shoebox of cash. Where he's like, hey,
like petty cash.
yeah, it's just these are all the students' tuition in this box.
Yeah.
And we spend it on haggling for meteors.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So he's like, all right, let me get a bucket of water, pour it on this guy, so I can at least try to pick it up and take it inside so I can take
Mhm.
it over there, get some cash, settle some debts. Not a good idea. Again, just
Mm-mm.
don't fuck with it. Don't even just call a professional. And so, but he pours this bucket of water on it, it cracks open and then starts spilling all these juices out all over the place. And then he's like, and he's like, no, and then has this other fantasy or dream or whatever about the same guy being like, "What the fuck you want me to do with a broken meteor, dude? Like,
Yeah,
what? You want
he's
me to
like,
pay for
what am I
that?
supposed to do with this?
It's
Which
fucking
he could still
insulting."
use for science.
Yeah, allegedly. He's like, "No, I need all the liquid shit inside."
Yeah, he needs the juices.
Yeah, dude. It's like if you give me a gusher that's like cracked open with all the like liquid stuff out, I'm like, is it still a gusher? No.
A drained fruit snack.
Yeah, it's gross. Gushers are kind of gross.
They're super gross.
They're pretty gross. I liked them as a kid, but
I loved them as a kid, but I've tasted them as an adult. I don't know if you have. They're not good. And they make your mouth blue.
I don't like that. So clearly no one wants a busted meteor, so he's panicking. He isn't sure what to do. And then he also notices he's got these like little fucking, well, first there were like little like spores or warts or something,
Ugh,
or blisters or something that were on
I
his
don't like
fingers,
that at all.
and it starts sprouting grass. Ugh. And then,
Yeah,
and
no.
already, like I said, he's putting his fingers in his mouth and
Yeah,
shit and
like
just being just generally
idiot.
pretty gross.
Yeah.
So of course it all just starts spreading,
Oh
right?
God.
So he gets it like in his mouth and shit. It's
Everywhere.
like, yeah, it's sprouting on his clothes, basically just taking hold everywhere.
Yep.
I feel bad for him here because I think here he's like, okay, I'm in over my head.
Yeah.
I do need to call a professional. So he goes to try to call a doctor and then has this other weird. He's like, no, I can't call a doctor. And actually, I can't blame him for this. He's like, I can't call a doctor because he's gonna pull out his like, what do you call those things? Like that butcher fucking
The hatchet.
the hatchet thing,
Hmm.
and he's just gonna chop all my fingers off and not even give me any like pain meds or anything.
Yeah.
And then,
That's, I mean, okay. This was his chance to try to get out of this situation. And the likelihood of them just being like, oh, we're just going to immediately amputate your fingers instead of treating them. I know he's stupid, but it, he should have just called someone. That was his last chance to get out. Would it have worked? Probably not. But I think that was dumb. He hung up the phone. He has it coming. You get what you get.
you know, this is why we need universal health care, Natalie. Um, I think in a different country, he wouldn't have that fear.
He wasn't even thinking about medical bills. He was literally just thinking his fingers were going to get chopped off.
Yeah, but I mean, like
That's what
when
he
you
should have been
have,
thinking about.
you're reading stories about health insurance companies, trying to argue like, do they really need that much anesthesia during surgery? Like, can you give them less,
Yeah.
and charge us less? I'm thinking that's my mindset where I'm like, oh yeah, just come here. We're just gonna fucking chop off your fingers. Who cares? Because that's all your insurance is gonna cover. Treatment. Get the fuck out of here.
Hey, now that being said, have there been times where I was like, oh, I'm in terrible pain. I should probably go to the doctor or call the doctor and then didn't? Yeah, absolutely. But it was never from a meteor.
Yeah, I think that's when I would be like, okay, this is a
This is
little bit.
otherworldly.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, it's 82, so you can't Google your way out of that one or
No.
WebMD.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah,
Very different.
I never looked and yeah, maybe I should look into WebMD and see um what happens when you touch a meteor
It's
or
when
touch
when
meteor
you're
juice.
when you're fiddling with meteor juice.
Yeah, be like just typing in your symptoms and you're like, yeah, meteor juice fingers, and grassy mouth, and
Grass mouth,
yeah,
grass
grass mouth.
grass fingers.
Hmm. So this gets worse and worse and worse. It
Hmm.
continues to spread, and spreading throughout the house, from the pit or, that the meteor made when it hit the
Hmm.
ground. You're seeing just vegetation spread all the way
Yeah.
through. So like already this is getting to be a mess.
Hmm.
He, he pours himself a pitcher of screwball, or sorry, is it screwball? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, when it was orange juice and vodka.
Hmm.
So it just starts chugging that. He's like, that's my anesthesia. I'm just gonna do this. He's like, I'm just gonna drink myself to sleep. He does. When he wakes up, it's of course, getting worse and worse and worse, moving quickly.
Hmm.
He's itching a shit ton. I would be panicked. I'd be like, I don't know.
Oh,
I need to
yeah.
drive to a hospital or somewhere now
Yeah.
at this point. But he doesn't. But he's still feeling all goofy. Just woe is me. Why
Yeah.
can't I get a little luck? You
Yeah. He's a
know,
swamp man at this point.
he is. And I'll be honest, I kind of feel bad for him here.
I don't.
Really?
Mm-mm.
Oh, because he's just so
Mm-mm.
dumb and he is
Could have called
unlucky.
anybody. Even could have called a friend. Maybe, I mean, maybe he doesn't have any friends, but
Yeah, I think
could
his
have
only
called
friend is
anyone.
his only friend is the ghost dad. Not Bill Cosby ghost dad, but his dad who shows up as a ghost.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, he wants to run a bath. He's like, let me rinse all of this off. Maybe it'll help the itching.
Oh,
And this is when his ghost dad pops in the window, which is
mm,
really weird. I'm like, you just show up
why?
just poking your head outside a bathroom window. Okay, pervert.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like I'm like as the plant life taking over him, making him hallucinate.
I guess so. Or maybe it's just his friendly dad coming down from
He just always talks to
heaven
him.
or up from hell. I don't know. To say, hey man, um, plants like water.
Yeah,
You should
that's what I
probably
would be
not do
thinking.
that.
I'd be thinking maybe put it near the heat, like kind of see if you could burn it off. That's
Yeah.
be scary, but
You can overwater a plant though. So maybe you're just like, I just need to stay in this bathtub forever.
mm-mm,
I still don't think that would work.
mm-mm. I would be trying
Yeah.
to dry it out.
And, I mean, for a very stupid character, I mean, he does, he's just like, hey, I mean, what would I just be delaying the inevitable if
Mhm.
I don't just go ahead and just put on a warm bath? Like, I'm like, hey, if this is going to be the end for me, let's like run a nice bath and just,
Yeah, you might as well be comfortable.
yeah, pour myself, another screwdriver. I think I said screwball. It's a
Oh yeah, you said
screwdriver.
screwball. Screwball is back to the ice cream truck talk. A screwball was my favorite thing from the ice cream truck. It was that plastic cone shape that had that pink ice cream, and then there was a bubblegum ball at the end of it. That's a screwball. Screwdriver is the vodka orange juice drink, yes.
So he ends up just doing it. He's like, fuck it. I'm gonna run this bath. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then who knows? Maybe it solves it, but it doesn't. It does
Mm,
make it much worse,
yeah.
unfortunately.
But he does say
Um,
he feels better for a moment there.
which I'm just like, look,
Yeah,
dude,
feels
that's
relief.
it's some relief for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, gosh. Yeah, next morning it gets much worse. He is just absolutely just he is Moss Man. He is just
Yeah.
covered.
Oh, I like Moss Man. He is Moss Man.
Uh, Um, Not for long though,
No.
because and this is where I don't know why this like struck such a chord with me, and I felt
Oh,
so bad
okay.
for him. And I thought this was just so powerfully sad when he is alone. He's got no one. He is just saying, like, please, God, like let me have some luck just this one time, and by that he means like please,
Let
like
me
he's
die from
getting a
this.
shotgun and just let me die, let me please blow my fucking brains out, please.
Hmm.
Just in suffering, and he does, and he just, yeah,
Yeah.
just fucking just shoots himself and his head just blows up, and
He does look
yeah,
great, the Moss Man. Looks really
he looks
fun.
great. And then you have over the TV, the news weather guy being like, all right, everybody, it's going to be raining. So, hey, you farmers, you love that shit because it makes things grow. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to
And it
spread.
and the cities that were surrounding his property, there was a big city listed there. I think Boston was one of them.
Yeah, yeah, because it was in
Right?
because it's in Maine, like most Stephen King stuff, because you have
Yeah.
Castle Rock, which is popular. I
Hmm.
don't know if that's like an actual place in Maine. It might be, but I know at
Yeah.
least Portland, Maine, and then
Hmm.
Boston, Massachusetts.
Hmm.
There's something like 180, 190 miles away, something like that.
Yeah. So that's
And
fun.
that's yeah, and that's the end of that one. Um, I'm gonna tell you right now, like, yeah, I went into this thinking that, oh Jesus, this is gonna be a fucking slog to get through. Um,
It really struck a chord with you, though, his suicide moment, huh?
yeah, and the second one I will tell you right now, this is my favorite of all five.
Really? What is your boost score for this one?
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Holy shit. We could
I
not be
loved
more
it.
opposite.
I loved it.
Wow.
And it works so good as a short film. And I thought at first I was like, oh my gosh, Stephen King's gonna be really obnoxious. But then like the more I keep watching it, the more I just keep like just feeling for this guy and just being like, he can't help just how just dumb and socially awkward and a victim of our healthcare system he
Oh,
is.
Jesus.
So I'm like just really in the like just feeling it deep
Wow.
down for this guy.
Did
So
not see that coming.
4 booze, loved it. How about you?
Wow. Wow. This is my least favorite
That's
of
wild.
all five.
But I hear you.
And yeah, it's my least favorite. I'll say what I don't like about it, and then I'll say positive things too. Um, Stephen King's performance is just so goof. like goofy. I just can't with it.
It
I
works. It's so wild where he goes all the way into ridiculous mode that somehow it circles back to being,
I don't
this is
know.
great. This is the best acting performance I've ever seen him.
Maybe I just can't relate to this male character and his life and his situation. I felt the total opposite. I felt no feeling for him because I was like, you did this to yourself. You had your chance to make that phone call and you didn't. At that point, if it's medical bills or losing your fingers versus survival, you're going to have to choose the one you need to go for. And he didn't. But that being said, things that I liked about this, I really, really like the plant effects, like on the outside of the farm, on the outside of the house, in the living room, just seeing it like progress is really fun. And I like that your villain is not a person in this one. So that makes this unique that there's not any person attacking him. So I like that aspect of it. And I love the way he looks at the end. And I do think it's a very bleak story, but I just every time I watch it, it feels short even, and I still am like I would pass this if I was not writing notes about it. I give it one boo.
Wow. I don't know if we've ever had that sort of separation
I
before,
know, I know.
but that's okay.
Maybe for My Bloody Valentine. No, not My
Yeah.
Bloody Valentine. Valentine.
Mm,
Just regular Valentine.
we've done both,
Hmm.
so I don't blame you. Now, this next one, I thought if anything, you'd appreciate the title because it's a good pun.
Ah,
Um,
I love that title. Hmm.
so the next one's called Something to Tide You Over.
Hmm.
This is one with Leslie Nielson and
Hmm.
Ted Danson.
Yeah,
I'd love to see. I'm not sure. I wish there was some other thing that had the both of them in it, just because they're
I
both such
know.
lovely people.
I think they play really well off of each other too. I don't think I've ever, you can correct me if I'm wrong if you could think of an example, but I don't know that I've ever watched anything with Leslie Nielsen playing it straight, like not being in a comedic role.
I feel like I have not seen anything either. Because when I think of like Leslie Nielsen movies off the top of my head, Airplane,
At least for our era of his
yeah,
acting.
the airplanes, the Naked Guns,
Hmm.
that Mr. Magoo movie that came out in
Oh
the
yeah.
90s,
Yeah, I've seen that.
um, Surf Ninjas, not the first time I brought up that movie.
God.
So, yeah, so I guess you're right.
Yeah. But I appreciate him, being in a more serious role.
Dude, not only do I appreciate him, but I appreciate how they dress him. I
Mm-hmm.
love that
The
sweater
little
he's
necklace
wearing.
that he wears too.
Yeah, oh my gosh. But yeah, the
Yeah.
sweater he wears on the beach,
Yeah. He's
it's kind
looking
of,
real just rich man with a nautical theme. I love
I,
it.
I love that. And I love a good cardigan, and it's like kind of a
Yeah.
cardigan a little bit.
Yeah.
It's thicker, but
Hmm.
yeah. Oh, gosh, good for
No,
him.
he's looking good. Yeah.
Another common theme in some of these EC Comics stories and adaptations is adultery. And
Yes.
then this one, focuses a lot on that, where you
Hmm.
have Leslie Nielsen, who is, you know, I this something about this movie, and then like rich, shitty people with like high-tech security systems. But
Yeah.
which I guess he also uses for like snuff films, essentially.
It seems
Um,
like it. I mean, he seems like he's a wealthy man with dark secrets.
yeah.
Hmm.
So, and a younger wife
Hmm.
who he says he doesn't even have any feelings for, but has some
Hmm.
entitlement over. So you're kind of like, yeah, all right, man, come on.
Yeah, it's
Um,
about the control and the power for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
So he just casually lets himself, you're not casually lets himself, but he does go to Ted Danson's place and says, like, hey, I know what's going on. And
Mhm.
Ted Danson's like not trying to deny it. He's like,
No, he's like, we were gonna tell you in like a week, man.
yeah, like we had a date, we had a dinner reservation.
Yeah.
It was gonna be a surprise, So thanks,
We had a
dickhead,
cake since you have a cake for everything.
Yeah, we had a cake. You fuck. But he gets all cryptic and shit when he's talking to Ted Danson. He's just like, I don't know, I don't give a fuck. I don't even like her anyway. But it is the principle of the thing.
Hmm.
You can't like let's this whole, you're like, hey, let's not have ownership over a woman, but also, don't fool around.
Yeah.
So both things can be true.
Yeah.
I think everybody can take some blame
Yeah.
and
There's lessons to be learned for every character in this story.
yeah, and let's all just look inward and maybe we don't have to become mutant seaweed creatures, right?
Yeah, but Leslie Nielson is definitely the worst character of the story.
Yeah, when you're committing murder, and
Yeah, it kind of
probably
wins.
have many times in the past, it's
Oh
looking
yeah.
like
He's got a whole row of VHS tapes. Like it's like Creep.
I know. I was like fucking Mark Duplass here, like
Yeah,
with all of his VHS tapes.
for sure.
He's like, hey, don't even worry about it. But I'll be a little cryptic and say, it might be in your best interest to, come to my private little party beach and go visit your gal pal, huh?
Hmm.
And then Ted Danson's like, what the fuck is this, dude? What are you talking about? Why? Where is she? What's up? And
Hmm.
he's like, I don't know. I'd be like, I'm gonna call the police
Yeah, I'd be like,
first.
I think we should call the police, and I'm pretty sure she's already dead.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just venture that either she's already dead
Yeah,
or me going there by myself is not going to like remedy the situation.
no.
Especially when I don't know where it is I'm going. I don't know what it is
Hmm.
I'm walking into. You are on his turf, right?
And
Or
clearly he's
beach, sand.
unstable.
Yeah. And even said he even admits it. He's just like, "Oh yeah, 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 dude. Oh, for some things, yeah, dude, I'm totally insane."
Yeah,
By the way.
yeah.
So it's not even like he's being like withholding about that. He's
Hmm.
very, very forthright. Um, so Ted Danson's like, well, you know what? I like this woman. So
Hmm.
and maybe we can still salvage this.
He
Maybe we
better
can,
he better fucking love her to follow this murderous man onto the
yeah,
beach. I'll tell you right now. She's a real good lay.
I'll go with you. I'll salvage this. You know what? Maybe at the end of the day, we'll still keep that dinner reservation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll laugh about this later.
We're gonna laugh about this. That's not the case.
No.
He goes to this beach, and I don't know if just some like,
Hmm.
if some eccentric old man millionaire has like a private beach, don't go. Just
No.
no, I'm
Nope.
good.
Nope.
Yeah,
You're gonna get murdered, sexually assaulted. There's just so many things, so many bad
sand
things that can
everywhere.
happen. See, in every crevice.
Oh no, thank you.
I
So
know.
so they walk up to the beach, and he's like, "Hey, check out that check out that hole with a shovel over there. What do you think that is, huh?"
I hate that.
Tim Danson's like, "Yep, nope, you absolutely took me to a grave."
Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Lodge.
you see it in his face. He's
Yeah,
worried.
yeah, if I don't know, again, if some eccentric person takes you to their private residence and there's just like a shovel in the dirt, no, thank you.
No.
I'm good.
When you finish your gardening projects, you put the shovel away. Otherwise, it's a
100%,
grave.
100%.
Yeah.
To Danson's like, yeah, so Becky is her name, by the way.
Hmm.
So yeah, yeah, you put Becky in there? And Leslie Nielsen's like, no, 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 no,
He's like,
no,
that'd be
no,
crazy.
no. That'd be crazy. That hole? No, get
No,
out of here.
that's a man-sized hole.
That's gross. So, so, so climb in, boy. And She's like, no, 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 no. This one's for you. She lost the coin toss. She's up the beach where the tide's already kicking.
Oh man.
Um, and then pulls a gun on Ted Danson and says, "Bury yourself in this."
Oof.
Ugh. I don't know. I've never done that. One, because I'm like super claustrophobic. I would never do that.
Mhm.
But I mean, I've seen like where people like bury themselves in the sand, like at beaches or
That's like
whatever.
laying
Maybe not that
down.
deep. Yeah,
You're
like laying
laying
down.
down. That's different because you could then pull yourself up because the sand is dry enough.
Yeah. That's why I didn't understand when Leslie Nielson was saying, hey, your shot is when the tide comes in and the water gets wet. It'll be easier for you to climb yourself out. I don't think that's true. I think it's harder.
No. Well, one, I I don't want anyone burying my whole entire body, whether I'm laying down or standing in a man-sized hole.
No, thank you.
No. But it just that concept is absolutely terrifying to me. This gave me nightmares as a kid, this whole segment. So
Yeah.
when he like describes, when he says like try to move your arms and he like realizes that he can't move, even feeling like the power and weight of sand with water in it when you like put your feet in it, like
Mm.
is so intense. So I just think about your entire body just being submerged in that. Like there was no chance, whether there's a lot of water or not, that he was going to get out of that.
All that soggy sand and all
No.
his manholes.
Yeah, and like, oh man, hours just soaking in that salt water. Oh, I don't. Mm-mm.
That's gross.
Bladder infections. Mm-mm.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna give you some entertainment while you sit here and figure this out. Here's a TV.
Yeah.
I've also got a VCR that's going to be recording you. I don't know where he's plugging all the shit into out
Well, did
here.
you
He must have.
see? You saw he had that on the back of his Jeep. It was like a rolling extension cord, like a whole
Oh, okay,
roll
okay.
of wire. So it's all the way from the house.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I guess he's into snuff films because
Oh
he
yeah.
is recording simultaneously Becky, who's already getting hit by the water and the tide,
Mhm.
also buried, neck deep.
Yeah.
She's struggling.
Oh yeah.
And he's
She's
like,
about to go.
yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, you don't really want to panic because you can't really take his deep breaths when you're worried.
Hmm.
She really shouldn't be so worried about
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Calm down.
So basically, it's kind of fucked up. Ted Danson, buried up to his neck, has to like watch his lover die on TV,
Hmm.
like drowning and drowning. Jesus, that's awful. Always awful, especially when
And
it's
like,
salt water.
well,
Ugh.
think about like that was the other thing I was thinking. You know when like salt water hits your eyes and you get that feeling of
Yeah.
like that feeling that you can only get when salt water is in your eyes. I just keep thinking about those waves like hitting their face repeatedly. Like I would think your vision would get blurry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not just like the salt water. It's like all of like the sand and the dirt and all that stuff
Hmm.
that's, fish poop that's all going up and getting in your face. Yeah. It's like just
Gross.
don't get in the ocean. I've said this
No,
already.
yeah,
Don't
fuck
do
the
it.
ocean. Mm-mm. It's
I
beautiful to look
like
at.
I liked the effect of Ted Danson's head finally underwater.
That's very fun.
It's
Hmm.
very
It's a
cool.
real cool shot. The
It's a
lighting's really
cool
cool.
like I say, like put him in a wetsuit, just stuck his head in a fish tank, and he was just underwater, and they were just like, all right, just look scared.
Look panicked.
Look like you're gonna
Yeah.
drown. Yeah.
No, that's super fun. I do like though before the water is actually like coming up to his neck, the little crab that is kind of like dancing around his face and he's like just begging just begging him to get rid of that crab. I do like the little and he starts snapping his little pinchers too. It's
I'd
great.
be worried. Yeah, I'd be worried about crabs. I'd be worried about like an itchy nose.
Oh God, that'd be terrible.
Wouldn't that be terrible?
On top of
Oh,
everything else.
on top of everything else. It's awful. Yeah. Be like my girlfriend's dead and my fucking nose is itching. It's terrible. I don't have time for you, crab. Get
Yeah.
out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
So he's dead as far as you know.
Mhm. I
Leslie
mean,
Nielson
he is
comes
dead.
back. Yeah, he is dead. Leslie
But he
Nielson
also
comes back.
yells, remember he yells that he's gonna get him.
Yeah, he does claim revenge, which I think that is the secret, right? As
That's the
long as
secret.
you
Hmm.
say some shit like, I'll be back, or,
Hmm.
when you least expect it, I'm going to haunt you and this and this and this. I think that
Yeah.
gives you that ability to do so, you
I
know.
wrote down the same thing. If you like curse someone's name yelling out loud while you're dying, you will have the ability to come back and get revenge. Like Chucky. He said, I'll get you no matter what.
My favorite was always Vigo in Ghostbusters 2, Vigo the Carpathian.
Yeah.
Um, when he says, "Death is but a door, time is but a window. I'll be back." And I
Hmm.
was like, that's some fucked up shit to say. I
Yeah.
don't know. If I was killing this dude in like ancient Sumerian times or whatever, I'd be like, I don't know, guys.
Maybe we
Hold
should leave
on.
him alone.
We should ask him to clarify at least first.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? What are you going to do? What do you have the ability to do? But
Uh-huh.
I guess he was just going to come back a few thousand years later and just make New Yorkers mad at each other. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like Ghostbusters too.
Me too.
So, where were we? So, Leslie Nielsen, he comes back to check on his work. The bodies are gone. And he's just like,
Hmm.
well, yeah, looks like the ocean did its job.
Yep.
There you go. Don't even need to think about it. And
Yeah.
then he's like, I'm rich. I've killed plenty of other people. It's not even that big a deal.
Yeah.
I'll get away with it. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna run a
What?
shower, nice hot
Yeah. Watch
shower.
some TV.
Yeah, just really enjoy myself. Getting
Hmm.
that really nice, comfy, like, not like suede looking, but I don't know what that was. That green number he was wearing too. That
Yeah.
also looked very comfortable.
Yeah. He had a lot of
So
good outfits. They wardrobed him real nice.
yeah, I think so
Yeah.
too. Um, he starts hearing noises, Natalie.
Not good.
Dead can't stay dead. Sorry, especially when it's, under murderous circumstances when they've claimed revenge.
But it's like,
So,
yes, but also, like, let's not forget these two were up to no good, fucking
true.
around. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to take revenge. But now they're taking revenge on him. It
I think
doesn't,
murder is an escalation.
I know murder is an escalation. I'm not saying he's right, but I'm just saying, like, I'd be like, you know what? We get to be ocean zombies together. Fine. Fair enough.
Really? Yeah, okay.
I mean,
Hmm.
obviously, that's not the way it plays out.
Yeah, it's not. Because they come back in this weird smoky mist situation.
Love it.
And yeah,
Little fog machine.
yeah, so fog machine. I don't know if that's an
They,
an appropriate effect, but whatever, it's fine.
they
You just
also they also
something
have a
ominous
long
is coming.
extension cord for their fog machine that they
Yeah.
carry around.
Yeah. Um, he starts hearing noises and then fuck, ultimately gets attacked by the both of them, right? Or at
Yeah.
least they come up. I like how they're well, I love how they look.
Yeah, they look
One.
really good. Hmm.
And I like the voices, like the very kind of like bubbly underwater
Yeah, it
voices.
sounds like they have water in their like throats.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he pulls out a gun and starts shooting them. I love the effect of like the goo blood coming out of like their
Yeah.
heads when he's
Hmm.
shooting them, and they're just like, bullets can't stop us, dude. Like we're undead. Like what are
Yeah.
you
And they
you
just keep repeating the things that he was saying to them right before they died.
yeah, just hold your breath long enough.
Hmm.
You'll be fine. Um yeah, they kill him. He locks himself into his room,
He
turns around and
tries.
just yeah, he tries, but they're right there.
Yeah.
I think
But they're
they
like zombie ghosts.
Yeah, so I think they are the fog, so they can just like fog their way under the door,
Mm.
maybe, and just kind of
Yeah.
circle back around, maybe. I don't know.
From fucking around to fogging around.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So he gets a taste of his own medicine. And then I guess they take him out to the beach and bury him. And then
Yeah.
he's laughing, cackling, I can hold my breath, blah, 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 blah. And I think he is just trying to save face
Oh, for
and
sure.
protect what little ego he can maintain when he is in the most dire of circumstances. Um,
Absolutely. Why not?
which I think if that were happening to me, like I'd be like, oh, I'm coming for double revenge for you.
That way you could come back.
Yeah, as something meaner that eats, you know. And then
Just be
this just
really
es
specific of all the like the things that you need.
and it just escalates back and forth. They keep just coming back as like other things, and I don't know.
I like that they return to the ocean together. You see their two little footprint tracks back into the water.
Yeah, so at least like they
Yeah.
do get to,
Yeah.
live in the ocean.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
What'd you think?
I love this one.
It's a fun one.
I might be a little bit biased because it two really great actors that I love are in it. Like Ted Danson and Leslie Nielson, I definitely hold a soft spot for. And I really like seeing them together. I think that I think it's probably the best acting that's in this between the two of them, in my opinion.
They didn't bring me to tears like Stephen King did.
I know. But
But yeah, I hear you.
and I think it just unlocked a fear that I had never, I mean, I was a child when I saw this, but like I would never have thought of being buried in the sand as a threat, but then that tide coming in and just seeing it hit their face and like spitting out the water and thinking about how it would feel on your eyes and your skin and just how cold the beach can be, like, oh, it really freaked
Mm,
me out. But I also really enjoy this one. I think this is my favorite of the five.
yeah.
And I'm gonna give it 4.5 booze.
4.5. Wow,
Hmm.
love that enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Um,
How about you?
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I think you're
Hmm.
right. It's probably the best acting. And yeah, the effects look good.
And the pun name gives it a plus on that too.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what the 0.5 was for.
I was gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a 3.5
Okay.
because you convinced me. It is a just a very, very solid, very condensed, makes sense as
Yeah.
much as it can. Yeah. And I think it just you know, just like the ocean. It's breezy.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it.
Okay. So now we're on to the crate.
Hmm. This one feels long. I feel, is this the longest one? Did you time them at all?
I didn't. It might be.
Yeah, it feels like it's the longest. Not in a bad way, just a lot happens.
Another thing really common with EC comics and adaptations of them, uh really just jump into wanting to kill your wife.
Yeah.
I think that I like sure um and divorce wasn't as socially accepted, I think, until like maybe like the 90s, 2000s where
Yeah.
um
But neither with
divorce.
murdering your spouse.
Yeah, but it's always like really jumping forward to like, man, I really want to just blow her fucking brains out in front of everybody,
Yeah. I
and
mean,
they'll applaud me for
she
it.
she's pretty great, but in the most awful way.
Yeah. She's just got this very like, yeah, she's just constantly drunk. Adrienne Barbeau.
Mm.
Just just you little dick fucking piece of shit. I hate you.
Yeah. She's just mean about everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything. I think what I like about her character, without getting like too much ahead of ourselves, I feel like she's this perfect exaggeration of what a man who hates his wife like sees her as, even if she's not that bad. Like she is like the embodiment of the wife you would want to kill.
I was unsure like who the main character of the story was at first, whether
Yeah.
it was the like the downtrodden husband, Henry is his name.
Hmm.
Um and Billy is his wife.
Hmm.
So it's Henry, but then like it really kind of focuses on Dexter for a lot
For
of
a
the
little
movie,
bit.
which is his friend. They're both college professors.
Hmm.
They're having some sort of garden party
Yeah.
situation. I don't know if it's on a garden, but maybe there's a garden nearby, but some sort of
Hmm.
backyard, front yard, I don't know, party.
Yeah.
But Um, so while he's having all of this like marital strife and fantasizing about, shooting his wife in the head, Dexter gets this call from a janitor at the university saying
Mhm.
like, "Hey man, here's the thing. So I had a quarter, lost it, and while I was looking for it, found this box under a staircase that was what was the year? Like
1832.
1832. So, um yeah, you want to come check this out? Because
Yeah.
also it's a little weird. I don't think it was making noises just yet,
And
but
he's like the grad student is not cut out for this.
yeah.
I like that the janitor and the professor are like they're tight.
Yeah. Though in real life, I think the professor would be like, "Why the fuck did you fucking bother me? You just
Yeah.
send the grad student. I'll take the
Yeah,
credit
he'd
if
be
it's
like,
worth
yeah,
it."
yeah, exactly. He'd be like, have him fucking open it up and breathe in all the dust, and I will investigate later if it's worth investigating.
Yeah, that's what their
Yeah.
stipends are for. Like, come on,
Yeah.
go fucking figure this out for us.
Yeah.
Um, so he goes over to this university, talks to Mike the janitor, and they pull this box out. And I mean, like what would be the math there? It's 180 something years old.
Hmm.
It's either something's real dead in there,
Yeah.
or something's still alive and real fucking angry in there.
Or it's just documents or something.
Yeah, I guess that's true too.
Yeah.
Dexter does bring that up. He's like, who knows, man? It might just be just fucking.
Yeah.
Didn't even say it might just be comic books in there, dude. Who cares? Or it might
Yeah.
be just, you know, some old professor's porno stash. I don't know. He doesn't say that, but he's thinking about it.
Could
He's
be.
like, ooh, did I leave something there however many years ago? So,
Locked it up.
so they're like, hey, let's open up this box and figure out what the fuck's in here. Let's do it. Um, Not a good idea. Mike is saying like, hey man, I thought I heard something move on its own. And Dexter's like, nah, dude, what's
He's like, whatever's in there would be dead. Or it's supernatural, bro.
yeah, well that's
Come
what I said.
on.
Just or that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
It's just like, or it's still alive and like
Yeah.
gonna fuck your shit up. So
Hmm.
either way, mm, but I guess he would be. I don't know who do you call for that situation? Because I guess
Yeah.
like if you call this professor, like I think he might be, a smart person to call. There's worse people to call.
It's a yes and no because the janitor was clearly the smarter one in this specific situation because he's like, whoa, I felt something move. Something's wrong. And the professor's like, there's no chance that whatever is in there is still alive. But he's the janitor's really he's worried and he should have probably went with his instinct and been like, I don't know if I want to be a part of this.
Yeah. I don't know if he was worried enough because, he's like sticking his fingers in there. And
Yeah.
yeah. And then ultimately found out, yeah, something is alive in there.
Yeah.
And it's
Don't stick your
mean.
hands in a box that you can't see the inside
It's,
of.
yeah. Yeah. It's mean. It's furry. And it's got claws and shit. And basically grabs Mike's hand and just starts eating him.
Hmm.
And then essentially just starts eating the rest of Mike as
Yeah, he
well.
just kind of scoots him up and gets his head,
Yeah. Dexter's like,
and Mike's fucked.
fuck,
Yeah,
fuck.
Dexter's traumatized.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Um, so he fucking runs out, of that fucking room, goes down the hallway and runs into one of the grad students. And he's like, hey man, shit got wild.
Hmm.
Ah, a dude's dead. What do you want to do? Can we go? Do you want to go in there? Or I don't think he even suggested. He's just like, maybe we need to get the fuck out. Or he's like, hey, you need to see this. Um,
Yeah, it what I'm wondering,
yeah,
how did that monster is so big? How does it fit in that crate? Is he like all curled up in there?
I guess so. Someone just, yes, probably just put him in there so he couldn't move around.
It seems like he likes the crate
Yeah.
because it doesn't
Well,
get out when it can.
yeah, I mean, it's just
Could
like
have
how like
escaped.
a dog can be crate chained, right? He's just
I
like, nah,
guess
it's a safe space,
the monster's crate trained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he brings the grad student Charlie is his name, um, back to go investigate this box and say like, hey man, like you need to see what I saw. Like this is fucked up.
Hmm.
And they find a boot, bloody old boot with a little bite mark in it. So apparently he doesn't like boots. That's okay.
Yeah.
Um, Charlie's like, I need to investigate this. I need to see the size of the bite of this, see what the fuck's going on.
Measure the bite
Um,
marks.
yeah, Jesus, dude, he manages to kick the boot over to Dexter because we got to protect this boot,
Yeah.
and
Proof.
then immediately gets killed and eaten.
Yeah. We
That
didn't
dude has
believe
like,
him. I
dude's
would
been in
at
that
least,
box.
if you ran into somebody who's that traumatized, no matter what they're telling you, there is danger.
Yeah.
Like, and if there's not, then they're the danger. So either way, you should be extremely cautious and not brush them off.
Well, too late. So he's dead. And it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, if he didn't finish, his family's not getting any of that tuition
Hmm.
money. It's all been spent on meteors for all we know at this point. So Dexter's like, fuck, okay, I definitely need to get the fuck out of here. And then
Hmm.
he runs to Henry's place.
Hmm.
Um, Henry's wife, Billy, is out,
Hmm.
just driving around drunk, being obnoxious. But he goes
Yeah,
to Henry and he's like,
you didn't even talk about how obnoxious she was at that garden party.
well, a little bit. I mean, enough that he wants to fantasize about shooting her in the face in front of
She's
everybody.
the worst, like the
Yeah.
worst. Yeah.
I think that would be hard if I always had to kind of like apologize for my wife. Luckily, she's okay. It's in social situations and doesn't act like that, so
Doesn't
it's
start telling
okay.
everybody's like personal gossip and all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah, she's also just mean to Henry
Yeah.
all the time. So, yeah, just
Mm,
interesting. How did they even meet? How did that even start? Was she nicer before?
maybe, or maybe just, sometimes, real meek, mild-mannered people really like a strong, confident partner, and but sometimes, you can't advocate for yourself if,
Mm-hmm.
abuse happens.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but still, fantasizing about murdering her is really not the way to go. I still
Get
think
some
like, just
therapy.
yeah, therapy and divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you don't want to do, couples counseling, I don't know.
Yeah. If the alternative is murder, probably just get the divorce.
I think so too. But he does not come to that conclusion. Uh, because when Dexter gets to his house, explains all this, he's like, two people are dead. Um, I'm worried that I'm gonna be held responsible for this.
Yeah.
Um, but I swear to God, there's a creature from the Arctic in this box
Hmm.
that is eating people. And I don't know
I
what to do.
I do like that he says he's worried he's going to be held accountable for it, like wrongfully so, and that he feels bad for even thinking that after two people have died. I was like, "Oh, Dexter's good people, other than maybe fucking the students." But he he at least had that like moment of like, okay, like I know I'm wrong for this, but like I'm worried, and he should
Was
be.
he, I forget, was he actually having like sex with students? Or is that
Well,
something
remember,
that Henry just says at the end?
I think it was actually happening because
Mhm.
at the garden party, when Henry goes up to him to invite him over for chess, Dexter is talking to a young woman and is like saying like, "Oh, like you want to come over later?" And every time someone passed by, he kind of went into a whisper, and she
Mm.
was like visibly much younger than him. So him making up that story later would add up that Billy would believe it.
Henry's reaction to this
He's like,
story.
"Oh."
He's like, so you're telling me this thing's just been murdering people?
From a box.
Huh. From a box? And he goes back into that box after he murders them? Well,
And where is he?
yeah, can you tell me where he is right now?
Yeah,
Let me make up a cocktail as he's putting in some
just
sleepy
fucking
meds.
drugging him.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna need one more drink to talk this through.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, so well, he starts thinking to start singing to himself. I'm like, well, I got I got someone I kind of want to
I
kill.
got a problem.
So instead of like, again, instead of just poisoning her or
Yeah.
something, pushing her into, that same quarry, that
Yeah.
he ends up putting the monster in, I'm like,
What's the
this is
difference?
your,
Yeah.
but then he's like, I don't know. I guess it's just so chaotic. He's like, how could I be held accountable if somehow I lure my wife over here and a monster jumps out of a box and eats her whole? I'm like, I
And
don't,
there's no body.
yeah. So no body, no evidence. Well, I mean, there's probably like a lot of blood and maybe a boot left over usually. But outside of that, like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna hold up in court. So he's like,
Mm-mm.
hey, I'm gonna need you to just take a deep, deep, deep nap, Dexter. So which he does, because he's been drugged. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna be kind because I'm a good friend and I'm gonna mop everything up.
Yeah,
You didn't have you
he did clean up Dexter's like worries.
Yeah, so that was really nice of him. Like he's like,
Hmm.
he didn't have to do that, but hey, good friends are good friends. And he calls his wife, who's also driving around drunk, still
Yeah.
leaves this note. Well, no, he leaves this note for her when she gets home, saying, like, hey, Dexter, it it went a little too far.
Yeah.
Like I guess like he like attacked her,
I love this note.
and her reaction is like,
She's she is
lapping this up.
like she is here for the drama. She doesn't care if this woman got beat. She's just like, I want to know all the piping hot tea. But
Yeah.
also, let's not forget, she pours a full glass of milk and then pours alcohol into it. I didn't see what liquor she put in it, but is that a thing? Mixing a glass of milk with something?
Well, no. I mean, the only like dairy drink I can think of off the top of my head is like a White Russian
Yeah.
but that's more like that's cream.
Yeah.
That's
No,
not like
that
just
was a
like
full
milk.
ass glass of milk because I was already concerned that she was drunk and then having a glass of milk.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
then
that
she
is not going to
proceeds,
sit well on her
no, then
stomach
she
at all.
proceeds to put more liquor in it and brought it with her.
Yeah, she's unhinged.
She is.
So she shows up at this hospital being like, come on, let's fill this. Let me go. Where is this girl beaten and hiding in a corner?
Yeah,
I'll go.
let me point and laugh at her.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Um, also, and then this plan that he's like, ooh, I'm gonna lure my wife in, and this monster is going to eat her.
Hmm.
Henry still has not seen this monster for himself.
Yeah.
So he like is
He's taking a big
really
risk.
taking a big risk in believing this story from Dexter,
He
right?
trusts Dexter.
He's like, why would you ever lead me astray? Of course, dude, if you tell me there's a monster,
Hmm.
ancient monster in a box under the stairs is coming out and eating people, like, I believe you.
Would you not believe me? We've been friends for quite a long time. If I told you that there was an ancient monster eating people from a box under the stairs, you'd be like, "Damn, Natalie's really lost it."
I'd think on it. I'd have to ask you at least some follow-up questions.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Before I'm like fully on board, but I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And I have to
You'd at
ask you
least
pretty
check it out.
quickly to see if catch you in a like a lie or something,
Mm, smart.
Yeah. Would I check it out? No, absolutely not. Whether it's true or not? No, of course not. No, I'd stay right home. I'd be like, dude, I'm already home. I'm already drunk. I've already got the frozen pizza in the oven.
You
Like,
already involved me just by telling me.
yeah, it's like, why do you even got to bring this into my world? What are you
Uh-huh.
doing?
Yeah.
I'm home already. Why is your office door locked? Who's in there? So Dexter is like really like okay with being drugged. He was like, if that's what you felt you had to do.
I
They're
don't
very
know.
trusting of each other.
His face looks pretty like he's looking at Henry a different way.
Maybe. Well, because I mean, yeah, because Henry's also confiding in him, like, hey, um, so by the way, that monster does pop out of the box and eats Adrian Barbeau.
Yeah.
Um, so she's dead. That
Mhm.
was pretty fun. And then this is like, it's a little bit of voiceover,
Mhm.
and a little bit of like him in his office, like the next morning, talking to Dexter, saying like, "Hey, took care of it, dude." And then Dexter's like, "Hey, man, I don't think I did anything wrong
Yeah.
necessarily, but I feel like I'm really feeling like I did because you went and covered all this for me,
Mhm.
you know, like you're fucking Harvey Keitel in Pulp Fiction, and I guess now you're asking me that I have to just look the other way when your wife is clearly dead and you did this. Because even Henry's acted different. He's like, you ain't gonna say shit, are you, buddy? Because we're
Yeah.
best pals, right? Best pals look after each other to some extent. And then
Yeah.
Dexter's like, yeah, you are a pretty good friend. You did mop up all that blood. That was a lot of blood.
I mean, like he couldn't have done that shit himself too. But
Yeah.
I think what Henry is implying is that if he were to say anything about Billy, then he would make it seem like Dexter had fed those other two people to this monster,
Hmm.
or he would blame him for their murders because the monster's gone.
But there's no bodies. There's no evidence. So Dexter would be like, are you gonna tie this shit back to me either? Like my conscience
Oh,
is clean. I'm good.
yeah.
But yeah. So the last shot is him dumping this crate with the monster into this quarry.
Hmm.
And but while they're thinking like, dude, we have it taken care of. We drowned that motherfucker. He's good. You do see the monster breaking out of that box
Yeah. Well,
and
because they
getting
didn't
loose.
secure it. Like he secured it with like two little padlocks, and before it was like chains, locks, iron nails. Like it was real, it was sealed really good.
Yeah, it wasn't just like some fucking four-leaf clover just sitting on top, being like, "Oh, that'll do the
A
trick."
gust of wind.
Yeah, jeez. That's the end of it, though. What'd you think of that one?
I like this one a lot. The reason why I like this one, so I like that you aren't quite sure who your, I guess, protagonist, antagonist, whatever you want to call Henry and Dexter is. They're both interesting enough for me. And I just really love Billy and just the lines and the things that she says. I wish I should have written down some of my favorites, but I do love when she's yelling at him right before the monster eats her, because it's very clear that that monster is going to come out of that box when she's just fucking going off on him. I really enjoy just how nasty she is, how mean she is. It's so fun to watch. And Henry honestly has more patience than anyone I've ever seen. I mean, obviously he was bottling up a lot. But I also really like they do this in all, I think they do the lighting trick when people die in all five stories,
Yeah,
but
the red lights.
they really go big in this one with
Yeah.
the when the monster comes out. I don't know if that was because maybe the effects didn't look the way they wanted them to or what, but it's like this blue and red lighting that kind of is coming from different sides and combines in some spaces to make purple, and it is just it's really fun and really cool looking. So I really love that. And the monster design is fine. He kind of looks a little bit too much like ape like, I guess. So that is kind of fun, but his eyes are scary. And I like a good, Henry got his happy ending. So I love that for him. Feel bad for Dexter. But yeah, I think this one is really fun. I'm going to give it a 3.5.
I agree with you on everything that you said. I feel like it dragged a little bit, kind of like
It does
towards the
drag a
end,
little. Hmm.
but yeah. So like I like it for all the reasons that you said. I'm kind of leaning a little bit lower, so I'm gonna give it a 3.
Okay.
And now we're coming up on, or we're creeping up on the last story, which is,
They're creeping up on you.
yeah, again, a story about just some rich asshole. This guy, Upson Pratt is his name. He
It's
is
like the
just some,
fakest rich guy name.
yeah, he is, yeah, just this business entrepreneur mogul piece of shit kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how effective he can be in his job though, because he is a germaphobe, and
Hmm.
because of that, he is, I mean, not necessarily essentially agoraphobic in some ways. I
Yeah.
mean, like you don't want to go outside.
He's literally
Um,
keeping stats of like numbers for disease and germ population and things like
yeah.
that. So I would say that's pretty severe. I would bet that that's built over time. If he's that successful and rich, he probably wasn't always like that. It probably has gotten more severe for him over the years.
Mm. So he's in this apartment that's, I'm surprised the landlord allowed him to do all of this, because he is really like he put in like a safe room, which I
Hmm.
don't know if you never leave your apartment like and you have it under like such like lockdown, like isn't just the apartment a safe room? Why would you
That's
like,
extra safe.
I guess so. Why would you like separate yourself like from the toilet if you're afraid
Uh,
of like, you know, having a germy space? You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
the toilet has a lot of germs.
True, but I think shitting yourself also,
Yeah, okay,
and
that's fair.
peeing in the corner.
Fair argument.
Yeah. So I get that. You can clean a toilet, right?
Yeah, yeah.
He's wearing gloves and stuff, you know, he's taking care of himself. He probably, gosh, I wonder if he like uses like those like toilet seat covers like in his own home.
Hmm.
Maybe.
I bet he does.
Yeah. I don't know how much those are really effective or if that's just kind of like a, you know, it's a nice thought, kind of a placebo. You know, you feel like there's some separation. I think with, yeah, I don't know.
I bet anything that is like it, I feel like it would have to be like highly contagious. Now, this is not science, so please no one quote me on this, but I feel like it would be pretty damn contagious if you sat on a surface with your bare legs and collected something from someone else that had sat on that surface recently. Do you know what I mean? That
Yeah,
feels pretty extreme.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, this guy, like I said, he's a real asshole, though. I guess, you know, there's some merger with the company, and his rival, just killed himself, I guess, and he's like
Hmm.
laughing about it and even like taunting like the
Yeah.
wife who calls him and, you know, says like, you fucking killed me. I'm just like, I didn't kill
Yeah.
anybody, you know. It's, yeah,
His
sure, did I?
reaction, his reaction though doesn't make him sound too great.
No, no, no. He's like, ah, you know, I may as well be guilty. So sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
tell me. You know, say all the stuff you want. I'm laughing.
Mhm.
You know, heard he went out with a bang.
Yeah. I liked something that she said that I probably didn't notice previous watches of this that I feel like I want to use now whenever I'm mad at someone. She says, I hope they keep hell hot for you. I love that.
Damn, this penthouse is $3,200 a month. I just did like the math real quick. That would be $10,600 today.
Wow.
Huh, Jesus Christ, man.
I mean, he's
Um,
rich, rich.
Good for him. And then so maybe his landlord's just like, hey man, you know, this apartment only costs like, you know, $400 a month. Um, but he's like, no, I'm gonna give you this much, but you have to let me do like literally whatever I want in here. He's
Yeah.
like,
And he was like,
okay,
okay,
guess
I'd do
so. All
it.
right. All right, I'm gonna go to Orlando. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Um, Go to Disney World. One thing he also doesn't like are cockroaches. But who
Hmm.
does? Right? Ugh, just
They're
little chirpy little
nasty,
fucking things.
nasty little fuckers.
I remember when I moved up to Seattle, um, you know, drove all the way in this moving truck. It takes, you know, a couple days to get there. I get to this apartment. I'm in a new state, and you know, we thought we were trying to be like safe by like renting from like, you know, like an apartment like complex with like, you know, corporate property management rather than just
Hmm.
some like Craigslist fucking thing.
Yeah.
Um, they're like, I remember like on the drive up, they're like, hey, so do you still want us to clean the unit? And then I was like, yeah, Go
Yep,
in there and clean
for
it.
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. What the fuck?
Yeah.
I pretty sure I
No,
paid a
leave it
deposit.
filthy.
Yeah. So like they barely even did that, but when I came in, oh my gosh, Natalie, um, there were roaches and
No,
like
not
and they were
plural. Mm-mm.
oh and then, like I would see like little baby ones scurry
No,
around in the
no,
kitchen.
nope.
I couldn't tell you how many cockroaches I killed
God.
over the course of like and gosh, I feel like I just blacked out the memory. It was so awful, but
And
because I don't know how long it took for them to finally come and like get an exterminator in to do it. They're like, oh, it's gonna
gross.
be this and this and this and this, and I can't believe it. I forget. I at least demanded a couple things and got them. I was like, well, I'm not paying for this and this and this and this, and I'm not,
Hmm.
so y'all can get fucked. And we were only there for like maybe we didn't even stay the whole lease. We are like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But so, ooh, ugh,
Yeah, and
blood
by the time you see roaches, I've heard by the time you see them, they're already like fucking just
everywhere.
living in your walls everywhere, in the floors. I the feeling of seeing one of them show up or like crawl across the floor is just indescribably bad. I
Yeah,
it's it's so nasty. Luckily, I think I've never experienced them in my own home, but
that's
there
good.
was one time I was traveling for work and I went to take a shower and they had rolled towels lined up in this hotel and a roach crawled out of one of the rolled towels. So I did not
Oh
shower. I
no.
just went straight on a flight home unshowered because it was so fucking disgusting. I just couldn't. But I must have jumped at least 4 feet in the air, and I am 5 feet tall. So it I would like wanted to jump out of my skin.
Just like fucking hopped up onto the ceiling like you're Spider-Man or something. Just like,
Yep.
nope, nope.
Yep. Yeah, there's just something about them. Ugh. Yeah.
And so paying the equivalent of $10,000 a month and you're still getting
Still.
cockroaches? Get the fuck out of here. I'd
I
be like, you do need
honestly,
to
he
settle this
should
right
be that
now.
pissed. Yeah, he should be that
Yeah.
pissed.
He calls the landlord, or the superintendent or whoever, and he's like, bro, I'm with my family at Disneyland. What do you want me to do? And he's
Hmm.
like, no, you need to get, like, I will fucking end you if you do not get someone in here now. He really threatens people with their jobs when he doesn't exactly have like, I mean, I guess he's probably just powerful enough that he could figure out a way to get somebody fired, but like he
Oh, I'm
has no
sure he could.
sway over the
Yeah.
fucking maintenance guy at this apartment building he lives in. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He's a renter.
Maybe he thinks
So
he does.
the guy, the superintendent, landlord, whoever, he's just like, hey man, I guess I'll try and call someone out, whatever. Um, sends the guy who comes and
Hmm.
knocks on the door, and he's kind of being like a real asshole, which is pretty funny because
Yeah. Yeah.
this Upson dude kind of deserves it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if it's, yeah, it's because he's an asshole. You don't want to make fun of somebody because, you know, they're a germaphobe kind of situation or being agoraphobic or whatever, something that they can't like help.
But he's also racist.
He's also fucking racist, which I was like, oh,
Hmm. Now
that's
you
it.
can make fun of him.
Now fucking go ahead, just let him
Gloves
fucking
off.
die. Who the fuck
Hmm.
cares?
Yeah.
Um, so but even then the maintenance guy's like, dude, who am I gonna find to fucking fumigate this place in the middle of the night? Like, I'll
Yeah.
try, I
And he
guess.
can't stay in there while they're fumigating.
Yeah, so what are you gonna do? Do you have another penthouse like set
Yeah.
up, or do you have a little bubble you can kind of roll yourself into?
Oh, that's smart. Like a boy in the
Hmm,
bubble situation.
a little bit. I wonder if maybe he
Hmm.
does bubble boy his way, like to get mail. He's got to open the door at some point, right? I mean, maybe they put the mail under the door for him. I don't
Maybe.
know.
But I mean, the mail could be covered with dirt and germs and gross stuff too.
Yeah, you'd have to sanitize all that, wipe it down.
Hmm.
Geez, the grossest part is when he finds the roaches in his
Mm.
cereal. That's
No.
when you know it's real bad.
Yeah,
Also,
he like blended them and was eating them.
but like, was he like, I thought he was eating like oatmeal or something at first, but like, he blends his cereal?
I think he made like some sort of, because the cereal looked like it was like oats and nuts and something like that. So maybe he mixes it like with yogurt or
Maybe.
something.
I
Could
guess
be.
so. I couldn't tell, but
Yeah.
oh,
But it was full of roaches. We know that.
full of roaches, sees it in
Hmm.
the mix thing and then also in the
Gross.
box, and he's like, this is fucking too much.
Hmm.
So he's trying to get someone to come out and help him, right? And this is when, you see there's like a storm outside. Some of the buildings start blacking out, like
Yeah.
losing power. And then ultimately his building loses power. And he's like,
Hmm.
what the fuck am I supposed to do? Who's gonna fucking come and help me? There's more and more cockroaches. He tries to call the maintenance guy and he's like, well, I'm stuck in the fucking elevator, dude. What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
I could, even if I wanted to help you, which I don't, fuck you, but what
Hmm.
what do you want me to do? He tries to call the cops. Cops are like,
They're
roaches,
like,
bro? Like,
we're busy with a citywide blackout.
yeah, dude, there's like homicides and shit that we need to figure out, or maybe
Yeah,
some,
we're not the
or at least,
exterminators.
or at least some traffic lights we need to,
Yeah, we need to
help.
manage.
Yeah, yeah. So some intersections that we gotta help cars get through. That's
Hmm.
what we're not gonna show up for some cockroaches, dude. Get the fuck out of
No.
here. But then at this point, like Jesus, dude, like the cockroaches are like in the thousands now at this point.
That shot of them like through the lights in the ceiling.
In the
Oh,
ceiling, in the jukebox. I like that he just has like a
uh,
jukebox. I like
I
that.
know.
I was thinking about that watching it, where I'm like, I mean, I've got in my living room, like I've got like, a nice turntable and my records. Um, but I was like, I wonder, can I just like buy a jukebox and just put all of my records in this jukebox and then just
Mm.
I don't know how many records your standard jukebox can hold, but I like that idea of just being able to like, doot, 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 bam, there's my song.
This this is another thing I could be wrong about,
Mhm.
but that I have no insight on.
It's
But
probably only singles though,
yes,
too,
that's what
like
I was
7 inches.
gonna say. They
Yeah,
only, I think jukeboxes only take singles. Yeah.
that's true. Sorry,
Mhm.
that was dumb.
Yeah.
Good point. Um, I guess good for him. He has that safe room, even though it really does not keep him safe at all.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, geez. So he goes in there. He gets starting overwhelmed. They're fucking coming in. I think he has like a heart attack.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and then he's done so. He's
But like, was he hallucinating all of that and then had a heart attack?
I guess so because like when they come in, like like they're like all the roaches are gone. Well, I mean, I think they kind of come back
Well,
afterwards,
yeah,
but
because they're gone when he dies, but then they're all bursting out of his body.
yeah,
So I don't really understand. This one I don't quite understand the ending.
yeah,
I
I
like
don't
the fun
either.
effects of the roaches like popping out of the fake body.
I do too. Oh yeah, that was great. Oh yeah, that cut
Hmm.
from seeing his real body and then to the fake body, which I think looked pretty good.
Yeah. It was
Even
just
though
maybe
that
like it's like maybe don't cut straight from his real face to the fake face.
yeah, that's a
Just
little
something in
jarring.
between. Yeah.
But I loved just starting with like the drop of blood coming out of the side of the face and then
Yeah.
just like, oh, they all just start bursting out and shit. That looked great. That was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good shot to kind of end
Hmm.
it. Not just that story, but all five is like, ooh, let's give them something real good. Let's
Hmm.
pull the fireworks, so to
And the
speak.
safe room has all the roaches just all in it. Ugh.
Fucking gross.
Yeah.
Um, this one, I don't know. I do think ultimately I'm going to give this one a two as well, as well as the first story. I liked all of that with the roaches. I don't know if I
Hmm.
liked anything else.
Yeah.
So it felt kind of just, I don't know. I also was wondering too. I understand he wants like a sterile, clean space, but does it all have to be white?
Yeah, that's really like hard on the eyes. And those fluorescent lights,
Yeah, like I thought like maybe it's like just so he can like easily detect any like stain or something, like if it's
that's what I
white so
was
he can
gonna
clean it.
say. If it's white,
But
yeah, it's easier to see. Isn't that why
Yeah.
doctors wear white lab coats?
Uh, maybe. I
Or
don't
like why
know.
they're
Like,
white specifically?
I don't know. But like, I mean, scrubs are like blue and
Hmm.
green and
They
some
could be
different
all kinds of
colors.
different colors. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
that's true. Hmm.
Ask your mom.
I will.
Yeah.
She'll be our research team for this one.
Yeah. I don't know. So yeah, so I would give this one, yeah, I give this one two boos. How about you?
I agree. I really like all the roach effects, and I do enjoy him accidentally eating them, the bursting out of the body. All of
Oof.
that's really fun. And I do like the angry wife's phone call a lot. I think that whole interaction is fun, but you don't really get to see this actor with anyone else. And that kind of bothers me. So I agree. It's one of my lesser favorites, but it's still not my least favorite. And I'm going to give this one boo. So lots of highs and lows.
Yeah, ultimately, I think you were harder on a lot of these than I
Yeah.
was, except for the one that you loved,
Hmm.
which is fine.
Hmm.
Um, but that's the end of our five main stories. We
Hmm.
circle back to this epilogue, where you have the garbage people, one played by Tom Savini, um, and they find the comic book. They're just like, whoa, whoa,
Hmm.
whoa, grab that before we dump it all in. And they're looking through like all the shit you can like order too. There's
Yeah.
like the x-ray goggles, and then they saw the voodoo doll,
Yeah.
but the little
Uh-oh.
clip thing. Y'all, if you wanted to order something off the magazine, there was like a thing you like cut out, and you
Yeah.
like write what you wanted, and then you'd like give them cash or like mail a
Yeah.
check or something, and
Send
just
it in an envelope.
hope it got there.
Yeah.
I think even like and then you'd maybe get your thing back at some point. I'm not
Yeah.
sure,
No
but
instant receipt or email verification. Like you just had to just hope
just
and wait.
hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why kids were
So,
so much more excited to receive things in the mail because they were like, fuck, it worked.
yeah, getting mail kicks ass as a kid. It's terrible as an adult.
Oh, well, obviously not bills. I like getting mail from actual people. Like when
Oh,
people
okay.
send like birthday cards or whatever. Like I love stuff like
Mm.
that, but like, yeah, nobody wants bills.
So the little order form for this voodoo doll is cut out.
Mm-mm.
Uh-oh.
Billy's dad is fucked.
Turns out Billy can cut a check and bought a voodoo doll that he
And I
has
can't tell how old Billy is supposed to be.
like 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, probably like 8.
Yeah, best guess. The dad's feeling like, oh my gosh, I did not sleep well. My neck's been all stiff and shit. I'm like hurting a little bit. Turns out Billy's been basically used like, well, like a piece of like his dad's clothing or something and put it on the doll.
Hmm.
And then the dad starts feeling like real sharp pains in his
Oh,
neck. And then it's Billy with his little fucking needle. Dude, fucking Jesus Christ. Like, yeah, sticking that needle right through the throat of this doll.
yeah. Like not I like you'd think like he would just kind of just torture him a little bit, like nothing too heavy. But no, he's going for the kill.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just do this right now. I don't even need to wait.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. And then that's it. That's
That's it.
the end. That's the movie. It transitions from you seeing Billy, and then he becomes like the cover of a
Hmm.
story. And
Just fun.
yeah, and that's the end of our movie. Did I miss anything? Let's see. I don't know. I thought I tried to be kind of breezy getting through these stories.
I actually think you were quite thorough, more thorough than I expected.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
try. So,
yeah. I don't think you missed anything.
so in that case, wait for it. Curious to hear some taglines.
Okay, we've got 4 taglines for this movie, but I don't know that I consider these taglines. So you can tell me.
Is
You
it like
ready?
one of those like taglines where it's like from the mind of George Romero or from Stephen King kind of situation? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna give two of them are taglines, two are not. So from the Masters of Terror and the Macabre.
Which I mean, hey, George Romero and Stephen King,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were,
Yeah, well,
right?
especially at that time, yeah, they're pretty hot.
Definitely.
Um, two Masters of the Macabre team up to terrify you.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, that's
Same
true.
idea.
Yeah.
These two are more traditional. Five jolting tales of horror. They're selling it. They're really trying to sell this. The
I don't know
most
if I felt
fun.
jolted ever.
No, I don't think I ever felt jolted either.
And there was nothing with like electricity really. So
It's an interesting choice of words for
I
sure.
thought someone was gonna get jolted with that high tide coming in and you're like leaving all that
Oh
fucking equipment
yeah,
out
I
here.
know. You'd think that there'd be like a little shock or something before it
That
dies.
that'd be some jolting, but
Yeah.
all right, what's the last one?
The most fun you'll ever have being scared.
Hmm.
It's high praise for their own movie.
Yeah, that's setting that bar real high.
It is setting the bar really high. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your four taglines.
Nice. Boo scores. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. So what would your average be if you didn't change your
So
score?
my average is 2.9. I'll round that to a 3.
Okay.
And I would say, yeah, that is where actually I would sit with this movie. Ultimately, I would give it a 3. I think even the ones that, you know, they all like worked for me at least. Like even when
Yeah.
I didn't love all the stories,
Mm-hmm.
they all just generally like certainly watch this plenty again, and I think each of them have something to add, right?
Yeah.
And that's where like I feel that I'd be like I couldn't like immediately think like which one to cut from this.
Mm-hmm.
Um Maybe it would be the first one or the last one because I thought the middle three were the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
I know you would probably immediately say like, "Oh yeah, that's Stephen King starring one. Get that the fuck out of here." Maybe
Well,
or the last one.
that's the thing. I don't think I would cut any of them. So for my collective my average for my boost score went to a 2.3.
Mm,
So I was going to round it up to a 2.5, but then I realized the one of the reasons why I didn't want to give these boost scores individually is because I like them all as a collection. But when I look at them individually, I'm a lot harsher on them. So I I think this movie has high rewatchability. I think anything that has an anthology is always fun to just put on. I would
yeah,
leave it on if it came on in a hotel room.
yeah, me too, definitely.
And the just the score is really fun. All of the effects are really fun. You've got all practical effects. You've got really cool animation. Sometimes they play together. They do really fun stuff with the lighting. I just think it's really, as a collection of stories, the way that it's all packaged up is done really well. So I'm gonna boost my boost score to a 3 as well.
Yeah, this is a fun movie. I like it,
Yeah.
and it's strange that I haven't watched the others, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
I know. I was gonna say you should watch the second one. I'd be curious to hear what you think. The second one has I think, one of my favorite Creepshow stories
Okay.
in it. Yeah.
I just want to go like fuck. I wish Tales from the Crypt was streaming somewhere. I want to watch that shit so
Don't you
bad.
have it all on DVD? Or you don't have
Mm,
it anymore?
just yeah, through
Somewhere.
all like moving from apartment to apartment to apartment over the last
1,000 years.
15 years. Yeah, like it, I would like it, like a disc would go missing or like,
Mhm.
one would, I don't know. So it's hard. And then there was like a while where I was just like, I was just way too much like fucking just like plastic and just crap in my house. So like I
Mhm.
really tried to just rid myself of a lot of physical media.
And now I
Um,
want it all back. I
I
did the same
know.
thing. I want it all back.
I know. So, mm, hell yeah. This is a fun movie. I'm glad we got to talk about
Yeah,
it, and I'm
yeah, me
glad we
too.
ended the month strong.
Yeah, yeah, you picked this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, good pick.
Yeah. I had to I had to balance
Make
out
up for
because
Stay Alive.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Okay, that's all I got. How about you?
Yeah, same.
Let's see. Um, I don't know. Let's see. Trying to be completely germ free, that's a fool's errand, you know? Like there's healthy germs, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, you need them.
Right?
Hmm.
So, hmm, I remember being really scared to eat like the yogurt that has the little like stomach enzymes, little bacteria buddies.
Oh, because you didn't want them like living in your tummy.
No, I did not want that at all. It's terrible.
Probiotics.
Um, yeah, it's like how I funny
Hmm.
like as a kid I wouldn't do that, but I'd like drink out of the hose.
Oh yeah, yeah, disgusting. Yeah, I would put my gum on my nightstand and save it for later, and then go back to it.
That is gross. I can't believe
You're
you
like you're
said
a
that.
monster.
All right, well, I'll let you think on that and see if you want me to edit that out because that's terrible, and I'm going to judge you for that. Do you still do that?
No, no, I barely even chew gum.
Do you have a piece of
Mm-mm.
gum just like off the side of your screen that you're just going to pick up and just have afterwards?
No, gross. That was as a child.
Okay. And then also just I think there's just way too many things too many things I could bring up as far as just, peace of mind warnings because everyone in this movie is just terrible and
No,
kind of
terrible
deserves it.
people. Yeah.
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 Also just don't hit children. That's a pretty good
Yeah,
one.
don't slap children, especially for reading.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I would say I
Like,
would encourage like, hey, reading's reading. Like, yeah, sure, this
yeah.
is a little macabre, but like let's again
But like
read the
lay off
classics.
of also lay off of comic books too, because a lot of I'm a parent and I've talked to a lot of parents and they're like, "Oh, well, the comic books don't really count as, reading." And I'm like, yeah, it does. Number one, like I actually think it's a very like different and elevated form of reading for like the way that children comprehend reading. So y'all can fuck off. Comic books are great.
For kids, yeah, like comics and just reading books, like because yeah, like what you wouldn't like reading like a picture book, like it's the
Mhm.
same fucking concept.
Yeah.
Um, it just reminds me of I was at this thing hosted by a librarian that was just talking about just the power of reading. Now I think reading like actually like reading words on like a text that's probably very important for children, right, because you have to kind of
Yeah.
build that knowledge, right, and
Hmm.
practice that, but at least later on in life after you got those skills kind of sorted out,
Hmm.
um don't have the science behind this, but a librarian said it, so I'm inclined to say it's
Yeah.
true.
Librarians are smart
Yeah, that
and well
listening
sourced.
listening to audiobooks, um it gives you the exact same type of like brain, you know, enhancement
That's
that
wild. Now I don't believe the
actually reading a
librarian.
book does.
No way.
Yeah,
That seems wild to me and way too easy.
right. That's what I was like. This is
It
a
feels
trick,
too
right?
easy. Yeah.
And then I was like, well, how about like podcasts?
Yeah. Are
what
those
about
making you smarter? Are we making you smarter right now?
what about spooky podcasts? Hosted by two good buddies. What does that do for brain health?
They were like,
um,
nothing.
I wasn't that specific, but yeah, she was like, "Oh, no, nothing."
No,
But
that's gonna make you dumber.
because I was asking, like, is it like, do you need like a narrative? Because like podcasting is just so it's a little more just free form, like just people having
Hmm.
conversation. Um, but I don't know. Look it up. I'm not going to be married to it, But hey, that's just what I've been told, and a librarian said it, so I don't think I need to investigate it any further.
No, librarians are kind of the research team,
Yeah. So read a
right?
book,
Yeah,
listen to a podcast, hours. We've got plenty of other episodes.
specifically. Yeah.
Yeah. And take care. All right, everybody. Three, two, one, ghost.
Thanks for listening to our episode on Creepshow. If you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to our podcast and leave us a killer review on whichever platform you choose to listen. You can find us on Instagram at 321GhostPod and give us a follow. We would love to hear your favorite of the 5 stories. Follow us on Letterboxd at 321GhostPod to see our boo scores on all of the movies we've covered so far. Next week, we're right back at it with our Chucky franchise series to talk about 1998's Bride of Chucky. Thanks again for listening. And remember to yell out a declaration of revenge with your dying breath, just as an insurance policy. 3, 2, 1, ghost.